Imagine yourself in one of those moments in life when everything around you seems to be crumbling. Worries are like giant waves crashing over you without mercy. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and an inner voice whispers a whirlwind of what ifs. Now think about how it would be to face all of this head on, but without fear. Yes, it's possible. Let me tell you a secret, an age-old art practiced by sages, monks, and even ordinary people who found in it an inexplicable refuge and strength to live fully and courageously. This art is not magic, nor does it require supernatural abilities. It is within reach of all of us, and it's called the art of living without fear. Now, you might be wondering, but how is this possible? How can I face life head on without letting the fear that seems to lurk around every corner overwhelm me? Well, the answer is simpler and at the same time more profound than you might imagine. It begins with curiosity. That impulse that leads us to explore the unknown, question the status quo, and seek new horizons. Curiosity is the key that opens the door to a world where fear no longer has power over us. Imagine that each of us carries within an infinite potential, a light that shines bright even in the darkest moments. But for that light to reveal itself, we must be willing to face our fears, look them in the eye and say, I won't let you control my life. This doesn't mean that fear will disappear completely. In fact, fear is a natural part of the human experience, a sign that we are alive and that there are important things at stake. However, the way we choose to deal with that fear can completely transform our journey. At the heart of this journey, we find the first step, recognizing and facing our everyday fears. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times fear prevents us from taking a step forward? Perhaps it's the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, or even the fear of what others will think. But here's a truth that few realize. Fear only has power over us if we allow it. By recognizing our fears not as enemies, but as teachers who have something to teach us, we begin to unravel the path to freedom. Now imagine that each fear you face is a door that opens to a new dimension of possibilities. This is where acceptance comes into play. Acceptance does not mean surrendering or giving up. On the contrary, acceptance means recognizing reality as it is, without trying to control or change what is beyond our reach. This acceptance brings us peace and allows us to navigate the turbulent waters of life with a renewed sense of calm and confidence. But how do we transform this understanding into action? The answer lies in the inspiring stories of overcoming that we hear throughout our lives. Every person who has overcome a great challenge shows us that regardless of circumstances, there is always a way out. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. These stories are not just tales, they are beacons that guide us through the darkness, showing us that we are not alone in our struggle. And speaking of guides, we cannot forget meditation, an ancient practice that has helped countless people find peace and balance amidst the chaos. Meditation teaches us to quiet the noisy mind, to find a point of calm within ourselves, and to face our fears with a new perspective. You don't need to be a monk or live in a spiritual retreat to reap the benefits of this practice. Just a few minutes a day can begin to make a significant change in how you approach life. Each of these steps, recognizing and facing fears, practicing acceptance, drawing inspiration from stories of overcoming, and cultivating meditation, are like pieces of a puzzle that, together, form the art of living without fear. By embarking on this journey, you are not merely seeking to overcome fear. You are redefining your relationship with life, opening yourself up to a world of infinite possibilities. As we progress on this journey, we reach a crucial point: self-knowledge. Imagine that you are an explorer in search of the most valuable treasure that exists, a deep understanding of who you truly are. This process of self-exploration leads us to discover our strengths, weaknesses, fears, and innermost desires. And herein lies an incredible power. For by truly knowing ourselves, we gain the ability to face our fears not as threatening shadows, but as challenges to be overcome. In this exploration, we encounter practical tools that can help us in our daily lives. For example, when we feel fear approaching, we can turn to breathing techniques, positive affirmations, or even the simple act of writing down our thoughts. These practices, although simple, have the power to change our emotional state, transforming fear into something manageable, one more step on the staircase we are climbing. Now, imagine that each fear overcome leads us to a new level of balance and understanding. This brings us to the balance between accepting our fears and challenging them. It's not about eliminating fear from our lives. That would be impossible and even undesirable, as fear also serves a protective function. It's about finding a healthy middle ground where fear no longer paralyzes us, but motivates us to grow and evolve. Finally, we are inspired by stories of personal transformation through courage. Each person who faced their fears and emerged stronger on the other side serves as inspiration and a reminder that we are not alone on this journey. These stories are like seeds that we plant within ourselves, which over time and under the right conditions can blossom into our own story of overcoming. Each of these elements, self-knowledge, practical tools, the balance between accepting and challenging, and stories of transformation, are the fundamental building blocks in constructing a life without fear. As we integrate these pieces into our lives, we begin to see significant changes, not only in how we face fear, but in how we live each moment of our existence. Delving even deeper into our journey, we discover the power of cultivating a positive mindset in the face of the unknown. Uncertainty can be fertile ground for fear, but what if we transformed it into an opportunity for adventure and personal growth? Learning to see the unknown not as a threat, but as an open door to new experiences is a giant stride in the art of living without fear. This requires practice and, above all, a conscious decision to change the way we interpret the world around us. Moving forward, we encounter the importance of living in the present moment. The past is gone. The future has not yet arrived, and all we have is the now. Worrying excessively about what is to come only robs us of the joy and beauty of the present moment. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to appreciate each breath, each step, each moment as a precious gift. This awareness helps us reduce future anxiety and focus on what truly matters. The journey continues as we explore emotional resilience. This is the muscle that allows us to face storms and emerge not just unscathed, but strengthened. Building resilience doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of facing challenges, learning from them, and persisting despite adversity. Every obstacle overcome, every fear faced, contributes to this inner strength, teaching us that we are capable of far more than we ever imagined. Finally, we arrive at a point where faith and spirituality intertwine with our ability to overcome fear. For many, believing in something greater than ourselves offers comfort, guidance, and a sense of purpose that transcends worldly concerns. Whatever your belief, finding a spiritual path can be a source of strength and hope in times of uncertainty. Stories of faith and spirituality show us that even in the darkest moments, a light shines at the end of the tunnel, guiding us beyond fear. Each of these steps, cultivating a positive mindset, living in the present, strengthening emotional resilience, and finding strength in faith and spirituality, equips us with powerful tools to face life's challenges. They are like lanterns that illuminate our path in the darkness, showing us that, yes, it is possible to walk the journey of life with courage and hope in our hearts. As we delve deeper into our journey, we realize the invaluable worth of community and social support in overcoming fear. Imagine for a moment that you are not alone. Around you, there is a network of friends, family, and even strangers, all connected by a mutual willingness to support, understand, and encourage one another. This sense of community creates a safe space where we can share our worries, fears, and hopes, discovering that, deep down, many of us share the same insecurities. This sharing makes our burdens lighter and our paths less lonely. Proceeding further, we explore the mindfulness techniques applied to fear. This ancient practice teaches us to be fully present, to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By adopting an observer's stance, we begin to understand that our fears are often products of our mind. Mindfulness offers us a new perspective, allowing us to see beyond fear, recognizing its transient and sometimes illusory nature. Next, we encounter the influence of fear on our decisions and how to overcome it. How many times have we let fear decide for us, pulling us away from opportunities and experiences that could enrich our lives? Learning to recognize when fear is in control is the first step to regaining control of our decisions. This requires courage and often a willingness to take a leap into the unknown, trusting in our ability to overcome whatever comes our way. Last but not least, we find real-life stories of people who face their greatest fears. These narratives are not just tales of courage, they are testimonies to the human capacity for overcoming. Each story is a reminder that even in the face of the most paralyzing fear, there is a possibility to move forward, to transform fear into a stepping stone toward a stronger version of ourselves. These elements, community support, mindfulness, awareness of fear's influence on our decisions, and stories of overcoming are like compasses guiding us through the stormy seas of fear. They show us that, with the right tools and the right company, we can navigate any storm, reaching shores never before imagined, where fear no longer defines us. As our journey unfolds, we arrive at an oasis of gratitude. Imagine, for a moment, transforming each fear, each challenge into an opportunity to cultivate gratitude. It may seem counterintuitive at first, but being thankful for difficulties is a revolutionary act of defiance against fear. When we look back and recognize how far we've come, we realize that every obstacle overcome is a reason for gratitude. This feeling fills us with strength and optimism, illuminating our path and making each step lighter. Continuing on, we discover how the practice of compassion can help in dealing with fear. Compassion connects us to others and ourselves in a profoundly human way, reminding us of our shared vulnerability. By practicing compassion, we offer and receive support, creating a virtuous cycle that dispels fear. After all, it is harder to feel fearful when you are focused on alleviating the suffering of others. And this connection with others strengthens our courage and resilience. Next, we address the process of freeing ourselves from fear through self-expression and creativity. There is something magical about creating, whether through writing, painting, dancing, or singing. These activities not only provide us with an outlet for our emotions, but also allow us to transform fear into art. Through creative expression, we give voice to our fears, making them less intimidating and more manageable. Every work of art created from fear is a trophy of our journey, a symbol of our ability to transcend our limitations. Finally, we draw inspiration from cases of life transformation through the courage to change. Change is scary. It requires us to leave the comfort of the known and venture into the unknown. However, it is precisely in this unknown that growth occurs. The stories of people who had the courage to change their lives, facing and overcoming their fears, serve as beacons of hope. They show us that although the path may be arduous, the result is the attainment of a more authentic and fulfilling life. These 4 pillars: gratitude for adversities, compassion as an antidote to fear, liberation through creative self-expression, and personal transformation through the courage to change, equip us with a new vision on how to face fear. They teach us that, although fear is an inherent part of the human experience, we have in our hands the power to rewrite our relationship with it, transforming it from a dreaded enemy into an ally on the path to a richer and more meaningful life. As we continue our journey, we arrive at a territory where culture and society intertwine with our fears. Imagine that our fears are not just personal, but also echo the collective fears of our community and culture. Recognizing this helps us understand that fear can be shaped, amplified, or attenuated by the stories we share, the media we consume, and the beliefs we hold. By questioning and reevaluating these external influences, we begin to discern which fears are truly ours and which have been borrowed from our culture. This clarity is liberating, as it allows us to choose which fears to face and which to release. Moving forward, we face the need to confront the fear of failure, one of the greatest obstacles preventing us from reaching our true potential. But what if we redefined failure? Instead of seeing it as an end, we can view it as an essential part of the learning process, a step on the staircase of personal growth. This redefinition allows us to embrace risk and uncertainty with greater confidence, knowing that each failure brings us one step closer to the person we aspire to be. In this context, the importance of personal narrative becomes evident. Our life stories, the way we tell them to ourselves and others, have the power to shape our identity and our perception of the world. By narrating our lives with an emphasis on overcoming and resilience rather than on fear and defeat, we transform our inner reality and, by extension, our outer reality. This narrative reconstruction is a powerful tool for living without fear, as it reminds us of our strength and our ability to change our course. Last but not least, we are inspired by stories of courage in moments of crisis and uncertainty. These stories are not just tales of bravery. They are reminders that even in the most challenging circumstances, hope and determination can thrive. By sharing and celebrating these stories, we reinforce the network of mutual support that sustains us, encouraging each other to face our fears with courage. Together, these concepts, the intersection of culture and fear, reframing failure, the power of personal narrative, and stories of courage in times of crisis, provide us with a deeper understanding of how fear operates in our lives and how we can, collectively and individually, transcend it. They teach us that by connecting with others and with our own stories of overcoming, we have the ability to transform fear into a catalyst for positive change. As our expedition against fear progresses, we arrive at the essential practice of self-care. Imagine treating yourself with the same compassion and gentleness that you would offer a dear friend. Self-care is not an act of indulgence, but a form of respect for yourself, a vital tool in our struggle against fear. When we care for our body, mind, and spirit, we strengthen our inner core, making us less vulnerable to the emotional storms that fear can bring. Whether through healthy eating, exercise, meditation, or simple moments of stillness, self-care ensures that we are doing our best to face the world with courage. On this path, we discover the liberating power of art and creative expression. Art has the unique ability to transform our experiences of fear into something beautiful, tangible, and often cathartic. By channeling our fears through creativity, we not only face them, but also transcend them, creating new meanings and perspectives. Every brushstroke, musical note, or written word is an act of affirmation of life, a testament that even in the depths of fear, we can find beauty and hope. Next, we explore the role of dreams and aspirations in overcoming fear. To dream is an act of defiance against fear, a declaration that we believe in a brighter future beyond the shadows of the present. By allowing ourselves to dream and work towards our goals, even in the face of fear, we affirm our power over our lives. These dreams and aspirations act as beacons, guiding us through the darkness, reminding us that there is something greater and more meaningful awaiting us. Finally, we are inspired by accounts of people who changed their lives by facing their fears. These are not just stories of change, but of true metamorphosis. Each narrative reveals that when we face our fears with determination and hope, there is no limit to what we can achieve. These stories are testimonies to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that no matter the obstacles, we can emerge on the other side stronger and wiser. Together, these elements, self-care as a foundation, art as an expression of freedom, dreams as a challenge to fear, and stories of life-changing transformations, form a mosaic of strategies for living free from fear. They show us that by caring for ourselves, expressing ourselves, and pursuing our dreams, we not only survive fear, but truly live, flourish, and leave our mark on the world. As we approach the final stages of our journey, we explore the complex relationship between mental health and facing fear. Imagine your mind as a garden. Fear, like weeds, can choke its growth if not carefully managed. Mental health, therefore, becomes a fertile ground where emotional well-being can thrive, reducing the space for fear to take root. Honest conversations about our struggles, therapy, and mindfulness practices are like gardening tools, helping us cultivate a healthier and more resilient mental space. Delving deeper, we discover therapeutic tools in the process of dealing with fear. Therapy is not just about talking. It is a process of unraveling the layers of our experiences, understanding the root of our fears, and learning strategies to face them. Skilled professionals guide us through this labyrinth, offering support and valuable insights that allow us to disarm the triggers of fear, equipping us with skills for a fuller, less fearful life. On this journey, we also encounter the importance of vulnerability. Far from being a sign of weakness, vulnerability is a strength, an openness to growth and deeper human connections. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, sharing our fears and uncertainties, we invite others to do the same, creating a web of mutual understanding and support. This authenticity breaks down barriers, showing that at the core of our struggles, we find our shared humanity. Lastly, we consider the experiences of facing fear across different cultures. Around the world, diverse traditions and practices offer unique perspectives on how to manage fear. Whether through rituals, ceremonies, narratives, or meditations, these cultural approaches enrich our repertoire of strategies against fear. They remind us that, although our experiences may be universal, the paths to overcome them are as diverse as the tapestry of human life. Together, these concepts, the importance of mental health, therapeutic tools, the strength found in vulnerability, and cultural perspectives on fear, arm us with deeper knowledge and techniques to face fear. They underscore that, although fear may be an inevitable part of life, our response to it defines the quality of our existence. Equipped with these tools, we are better prepared to confront our fears head-on, paving the way for a life marked not by what we fear, but by what we are capable of overcoming. We find an environment we rarely associate with overcoming fear: nature. Imagine yourself immersed in a tranquil forest, by the edge of a serene lake, or under a starry sky. These natural settings have the surprising power to reconnect us with something deeper and older than our everyday fears. Nature, with its grandeur and beauty, reminds us of the vastness of the world and the relativity of our problems. By losing ourselves in the magnificence of the natural world, fear loses its power, dissolving into the immensity that surrounds us. Continuing, we explore how philosophy and spirituality offer perspectives on fear. For millennia, thinkers and spiritual guides have contemplated the nature of fear and the path to freedom. These traditions teach us that fear, in its essence, is an illusion, a shadow cast by our own thoughts. By adopting philosophical and spiritual practices, we learn to question and look beyond appearances, finding peace and understanding in deeper truths. This ancient wisdom is a beacon that illuminates our path, offering clarity amidst confusion. Moreover, we encounter the importance of education and continuous learning in overcoming fear. Knowledge is a powerful tool against the unknown, the primary source of our fears. By dedicating ourselves to study and exploration of new fields of knowledge, we expand our horizons and diminish the space for fear in our lives. Each new skill acquired, each concept understood, is a step forward in our struggle against fear, proving that we are capable of growth and evolution regardless of the challenges we face. Last but not least, we are inspired by stories of people who found purpose in overcoming fear. These are not merely tales of triumph. They are testimonies to the transformation that occurs when we face our fears and use them as fuel for discovering our true purpose in life. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, these individuals show us that it is possible to use it as a springboard to achieve our highest aspirations, finding meaning and fulfillment in our journeys. The impact of nature, the lessons of philosophy and spirituality, the transformation through education and learning, and the finding of purpose in overcoming fear. Together they weave the closing of our saga. They remind us that the art of living without fear is a rich and multifaceted tapestry composed of many threads, each contributing to the beautiful design that is life lived courageously. It is time to reflect on the path we have traveled and what we have learned along the way. Initially, we embarked on this adventure perhaps seeking simple answers to complex questions. However, what we discovered was something more valuable: the understanding that the art of living without fear is an ongoing process, a series of choices and practices that guide us through life. First, we recognize the importance of facing our fears head-on. Through this direct confrontation, we discovered that fear, as imposing as it may seem, is often nothing more than a specter, a shadow that diminishes as we approach and examine it closely. We learn to use our discernment to separate irrational fears from those rooted in reality, and even these we faced with courage and determination. Next, the journey taught us about maintaining the progress achieved. Each step taken against fear is a victory, but it is vital to cultivate this conquered territory. This means continuing the practices that strengthened us, whether through meditation, self-care, mutual support in community, or continuous learning. This daily maintenance ensures that, even in the face of new challenges, we have the necessary tools to confront them. We also proceeded to inspire others with our stories of courage. By sharing our experiences, we not only consolidate our own learning, but also kindle a light for those still walking in the shadows of fear. Our journey then becomes a beacon, a living testimony that it is possible to transcend the fears that limit us. We reach the end of our script without motivational messages, reflections, or epilogues. We simply recognize that the end of this journey is, in fact, the beginning of another. The art of living without fear does not conclude with the overcoming of a single challenge, but continues to unfold with each day in every choice we make and every moment we live fully. Thus, armed with the wisdom gained and the insights shared, we are ready to face life head-on, not as fearful beings, but as courageous explorers of the vast and wondrous mystery that is human existence. I hope this message has been helpful to you. Don't forget to like and share this video. See you in the next video. Goodbye.